The rain was light that evening, barely making a sound against the windows. The house felt too quiet, the kind of silence that made every small noise feel heavy. Daniel Parker sat alone on the couch, staring at his phone without really seeing the screen. Another message left unread. Another long day without real conversation. The house used to be full of life. Music playing in the mornings, laughter during dinner. A young girl running down the hallway with school books in her arms. Ha! But those days felt far away now. 3 years ago, Emily had left for college. The day she drove away, Daniel smiled and waved until her car disappeared, then went inside and cried where no one could see. Since then, the house had slowly lost its warmth. His wife Claire was still there, but not really. She spoke less, smiled less, stayed out late more often. When Daniel asked about her day, she answered with short words. When he reached for her hand at night, she gently pulled away, pretending to be tired. At first, Daniel thought it was stress. Then he thought it was age. Then he wondered if it was something he had done wrong. But deep inside, he felt the truth creeping closer. They were drifting apart. That evening, Daniel was lost in his thoughts when he heard something soft. A door opening, he lifted his head slowly. At the front entrance stood a suitcase. For a second, he thought he was imagining it. Then a voice spoke. "Dad?" Daniel's heart stopped. He stood up so fast the coffee cup on the table tipped over. "Emily?" She stood there smiling, rain on her jacket, hair pulled back just like she used to in high school. She looked older, taller, stronger, but those were still his daughter's eyes. "I'm home," she said. Daniel crossed the room in 3 steps and pulled her into a tight hug. "You're home," he whispered again and again. For a moment, everything broken inside him felt fixed. Emily laughed softly. "I missed you so much. I missed you more than you know." They stood there holding each other while the rain continued outside. When they finally pulled apart, Daniel wiped his eyes quickly. "Why didn't you call first? I wanted it to be a surprise." "Well, you succeeded." Emily rolled her suitcase inside. "Is Mom home?" Daniel nodded toward the kitchen. "She's here." Emily walked in with a bright smile. "Mom?" Claire looked up from her phone. "Oh, you're back already." Emily's smile faded just a little. "Yeah, semester ended early." "That's nice," Claire said, and went back to her screen. Daniel noticed the coldness, but said nothing. That night, they ate dinner together for the first time in months. Emily talked about school, about her friends, about how hard classes were, and how exciting life felt. Daniel listened closely, laughing when she joked, asking questions like he always had. Claire barely spoke. She picked at her food and checked her phone every few minutes. Emily noticed. "So, Mom, how have you been?" she asked. Claire looked up. Briefly, "Fine." Just one word. The table fell quiet. Daniel cleared his throat and changed the subject. Later, while washing dishes, Emily leaned close to him. "Dad, is everything okay?" Daniel forced a smile. "Of course." But Emily could see through it. "You don't smile the same." Daniel looked away. "It's just been quiet without you." Emily nodded slowly, not fully convinced. That night, Emily lay in her old room, staring at the ceiling. The house felt different, not warm like before. Something was missing the next morning. Daniel made pancakes like he used to. "You still remember," Emily laughed. "Some things you never forget." They sat together, joking and talking. Claire rushed through breakfast. "I'm late," she said, grabbing her bag. "Where are you going?" Daniel asked. "Out? With who? Friends?" She didn't look at him. The door closed quickly behind her. Emily watched in silence. "She's been busy," Daniel said softly. Emily didn't answer. Over the next few days, things didn't improve. Claire stayed out late almost every night. Sometimes she didn't come home until after midnight. Daniel waited up, pretending to watch TV, pretending not to worry. Emily saw the pain in his eyes. One afternoon, Emily found Daniel sitting in the backyard staring at nothing. "Dad," she said gently. Sitting beside him, he smiled weakly. Hey, kid, you can talk to me. Daniel sighed. Some things are hard to say. Emily took his hand. Try. He stayed quiet for a long moment. Your mother and I, we're not as close as we used to be. Emily nodded slowly. I can feel it. I love her, Daniel said. I always have, then why does it feel like she doesn't love you back? The words hit hard. Daniel swallowed. I don't know. That night, Claire dressed up nicely. Better than usual. You look nice, Daniel said softly. Thanks. Where? Are you going out? With friends? Yes, same answer. Same distance. The door closed again. Emily stood near the stairs, watching. Dad, I don't think she's telling the truth. Daniel didn't answer. Hours passed. The clock showed 11:30. Then midnight. Emily sat beside Daniel on the couch. Do you want me to make tea? No, he said quietly. I just want her to come home. Suddenly, headlights flashed through the window, but it wasn't Claire's car. A different car stopped in the driveway. Daniel stood slowly. Voices could be heard outside. A man's voice. Laughed. Emily's heart began to race. The front door opened. Claire stepped in. Behind her stood a man neither of them recognized. Claire froze when she saw them. Daniel, Emily. The man looked uncomfortable. I think I should go, he said. But the moment had already spoken the truth. Emily felt her chest tighten. Mom, Kay, she whispered. Claire opened her mouth, but no words came. Daniel's face was pale. Who is he? He asked calmly. Silence. The man slowly stepped back toward the door. I'll wait outside, Kay said. The door closed again. The house felt like it was holding its breath. Daniel looked at Claire. How long? Her eyes filled with tears. She whispered, almost a year. Emily felt like the floor had disappeared. A year. All those late nights, all those lies, all those cold answers. Daniel nodded slowly, as if he had already known. So this is why you left, he said quietly. Claire cried. I didn't mean for it to happen. But it did. Daniel said. Emily looked between them, heartbreaking. You hurt him, she said softly. Claire covered her face. The silence was louder than shouting. Outside, the rain began again, and nothing in that house would ever be the same. Part 1 ends there, where love meets truth and everything begins to fall apart. The room stayed silent after Claire spoke the truth. Almost a year. The words hung in the air like heavy smoke. Daniel did not shout. He did not cry. Simply nodded, as if a puzzle he had been trying to solve had finally come together. Emily felt her chest tighten. Her hands shook. So all those nights, Daniel said quietly, you weren't tired. You weren't with friends. You were with him. Claire wiped her tears. I didn't plan it, Daniel. It just happened. Always. Just happens, Daniel replied softly. Emily stepped forward. Mom, you lied to us. Every day. Claire looked at her daughter with pain in her eyes. I never wanted to hurt you. But you did, Emily said. Daniel took a slow breath. Why? Claire sat down, her shoulders shaking. I felt lonely. You were always working. We stopped talking. I felt invisible. Daniel's voice cracked. I was working for this family. For you! I know, she cried. But I needed to feel wanted again. You were always wanted, Daniel said. You just stopped looking at me. Silence filled the room again. Emily watched the man she admired her whole life stand broken but calm. I never cheated on you, Daniel said. Even when things were hard, even when I felt alone. Claire couldn't meet his eyes. I still loved you, he continued. I still waited for you every night. Tears rolled down her face. I'm sorry. The word felt small compared to the damage. Daniel nodded slowly. Sorry doesn't bring back trust. Emily hugged her arms around herself. Is that man, does he mean something to you? Claire whispered. I don't know anymore. That's the problem, Emily said. Daniel walked to the window, staring at the rain. For months I blamed myself, he said quietly. I thought I wasn't enough, Claire cried harder. But now I see, he said, turning back. You made a choice. He took a deep breath. And choices have consequences. What are you saying? Claire asked. I'm saying we can't pretend anymore. Emily's heart pounded. You're leaving? Claire whispered. Daniel shook his head slowly. No, I think you should. Claire looked shocked. This is your home, she said. It was our home, Daniel replied, before lies moved in. Emily felt tears fall but said nothing. Claire stood slowly. You're really ending it? Daniel nodded. I still care about you. But I can't live like this. The house was quiet. Again, Claire walked upstairs without another word. Drawers opened. Clothes were pulled out, a suitcase rolled across the floor. Emily sat beside her father. I'm sorry, Dad. He placed an arm around her. None of this is your fault. Minutes later, Claire returned with her bag. She looked smaller somehow. I never wanted to lose my family, she whispered. Daniel looked at her gently. But you did? She stepped closer. Can't we fix this? Daniel shook his head. Love without trust isn't love anymore. Tears streamed down her face. I hope you find happiness, Daniel said. I truly do, Claire sobbed. I broke everything. Yes, he said softly. But now we have to live with it. She turned toward Emily. I love you, she whispered. Emily nodded slowly. I love you too, Mom. But this hurts. Claire hugged her tightly. Then she walked out the door. The sound of the car leaving felt like the end of a chapter. The house was silent again, but this silence felt different. Not empty, just peaceful. Daniel sat down slowly. Emily leaned into him. We'll be okay, she said. He nodded, though his eyes were wet. I don't know how, he said. But we will. The next days were heavy. Daniel barely slept. Emily stayed close. They cooked meals together, watched old movies, talked late into the night. Some moments were quiet, some were filled with tears, but slowly the pain began to soften. One evening, Emily said, You deserve happiness too, Dad. Daniel smiled weakly. I thought I had it once. You can have it again, she said. He looked at her. Right now, I'm just trying to breathe. That's enough for now, she replied. Weeks passed. Claire sent messages. Long ones. Apologies. Memories. Requests to talk. Daniel didn't answer at first. Finally, Kwane, he said, I'll meet her. For closure. Emily squeezed his hand. I'm proud of you. They met at a small cafe. Claire looked tired. I miss you, she said. I miss the life we had, Daniel replied. But not the lies, she cried. I ruined everything. Yes, he said gently. But we both need to move forward. I still love you, she whispered. Daniel paused. I care about you, he said. But I'm not in love anymore. The words hurt both of them, but they were honest. I forgive you, he said. Not because what you did was okay, but because I don't want to carry anger. Claire cried softly. Take care of yourself, he added. You too. When Daniel walked away, something lifted from his chest. For the first time in a long while, he felt free. At home, Emily hugged him tightly. How did it go? I let go, he said. She smiled through tears. I knew you could. Life slowly changed. Daniel returned to work. With more energy, he laughed again. He even joined neighbors for evening walks. Emily saw light come back into his eyes. One night on the porch, watching the sunset, Emily said, Mom, losing us wasn't the end. It was a lesson. Daniel nodded. Sometimes heartbreak clears the path for healing. You're strong, she said. He smiled. Are you? Before Emily returned to college, they spent one last weekend together. They cooked her favorite meals. They looked through old photos. They laughed at silly memories at the door. Emily hugged him tightly. Promise me you'll keep living, not just surviving. I promise, he said, and promise you'll believe in love again. Daniel smiled gently. One day, she kissed his cheek. You're my hero. As her car drove away, Daniel didn't feel empty like before. He felt hopeful. The house was quiet again, but now it was peaceful. Sometimes love ends, sometimes hearts break, but sometimes, from the pain, something stronger grows. A father found his strength, a quiet daughter found her voice, and a broken family found healing. Not by pretending, but by facing the truth and choosing to move forward.